The Hall of Many Suns floated above a quiet nebula, glowing with the light of 100 different worlds. The Council of Civilizations had gathered after long cycles of debate. Each seat represented a species older and grander than the young world called Earth. Yet today, their voices held an unusual tension. The point on the agenda was simple: a vote to remove Earth from the shared star lane agreements. A vote that would effectively isolate the human race. Many claimed humans were too unpredictable, too bold, too fast to change, too quick to adapt. 1,000 reasons were listed across cycles of argument. Their inventions, their curiosity, their refusal to follow old rules written by ancient powers. But none of those reasons were spoken aloud in the hall. Instead, the council spoke of order, stability, harmony, words that felt heavy and rehearsed. At the center of the chamber sat a single empty platform, reserved for the representative of Earth. It had been empty for 3 cycles. The human envoy had not returned after the last meeting, and no reason was given. A few council members whispered that it was rude. Others feared it meant defiance. A few, in the quietest quarters, wondered if it meant something else entirely. The meeting began when the first speaker tapped the inner ring of the hall. A soft tone spread like ripples. The debate ended. The vote started. One by one, lights rose above each seat. Blue for acceptance, yellow for delay, red for refusal. Blue lights filled the hall like cold stars. Yellow lights appeared only in scattered places. No red lights appeared. No species willing to openly defend humans stepped forward. When the final light appeared and the tone settled, the conclusion became official. Earth was banned from council travel lanes. Human ships were no longer welcome in shared sectors. Their research exchanges were suspended. Their presence was no longer recognized. The first speaker announced the result. The council expected outcry. They expected protests from human worlds. They expected messages filled with frustration. They expected calls demanding reasons. But the hall remained quiet. No anger came from Earth. No reply came at all. At first, this pleased some members. They took the silence as acceptance. Others felt a tightness of uncertainty. Humans never stayed quiet unless something was happening behind the silence. News trickled in slowly from the edges of council space. Stations once visited by human traders found no ships arriving. Research hubs where humans once joined collaborations found their labs empty. Outer colonies that relied on human engineers waited for months but saw no new teams. Humans were gone, not only from council space, but from every shared corridor. Their signals faded from common networks. Their presence fell like a curtain drawn without warning. At first, the council assumed humans were grieving the ban. Maybe their pride was hurt. Maybe they wished to stay hidden until the sting passed. But cycles passed. Then more cycles. And the silence stayed. A merchant vessel from a distant system finally offered new information. It had traveled close to Earth's star. From a distance, it saw no ships in orbit, no activity in the traffic lanes, only quiet platforms and dark satellites. It looked as if the humans had packed everything away. The council dismissed it as sensor error. Humans did not vanish. Humans built. Humans expanded. Humans filled every space they touched. Yet the silence continued. The mystery grew deeper when a group of explorers from the river worlds requested permission to survey the system once more. The council approved the mission, confident they would find humans simply reorganizing. When the explorers returned, they carried a single report. Earth's system had changed, not damaged, not abandoned, simply changed. The orbital paths were clean, too clean. The stations were gone. The shipyards were gone. Even the debris fields were gone. The explorers scanned for human signals. They found none. They scanned for traffic records. None. They scanned for population centers on Earth. Again, none. But the planet was not ruined. It was quiet, untouched, as if waiting for something, or as if something had been carefully put away. The council argued for weeks over the meaning. Some said humans had retreated underground. Others said they had cloaked themselves. A few suggested this was a display of protest, a demonstration that humans could remove themselves from shared space entirely. But none of these answers explained the strange calm left behind. It was the neutral observers from the outer rings who offered a new clue. They had followed ancient human trade routes that stretched between distant stars. They found the same silence everywhere. Human outposts were gone. Human colonies were gone. Human construction fields were empty. Yet no sign of struggle existed. No damage, no wrecks. Only absence. One observer described it with a simple sentence. It was as if a species decided to pack an entire civilization into a single bag and walk away. The council called an emergency session. They asked for statements from every corner of shared space. The reports all said the same thing. Humanity had not gone dark. Humanity had moved, together, quietly, without complaint, without farewell, without a single message explaining why. Some in the council insisted this was impossible. A species could not relocate without leaving marks. A species could not shift across the galaxy without leaving trails. But humans had always made the impossible seem practical, and this disappearance fit their pattern of unexpected actions. During one session, an old member of the council asked a question that silenced the hall. Why did they not argue when the ban was announced? Why did they not fight to remain? Why did they not ask for one more chance? The question left a shadow in the chamber, because no one could answer. The council decided to send a diplomatic search fleet, not to confront humans, but to locate them and offer reinstatement. They wanted to undo the ban. A few members admitted they felt uneasy without the presence of humans, not because of fear, but because their absence felt wrong. Humans had brought energy and new ideas, sometimes chaotic, often frustrating, but always alive. Without them, the shared lanes felt hollow. The fleet traveled along the star maps that once connected human territories. They found empty routes, clean pathways, as if someone had swept the cosmic floor. They followed faint traces of human jump signatures. These signatures did not follow normal travel lanes. They curved toward unknown regions, toward deep sectors with no mapped stars, as if humanity had built a path into the dark, not in retreat, but in purpose. After many cycles, the fleet reached the edge of the mapped galaxy. Instruments detected faint disturbances in the fabric of space, signs of mass departures. Thousands of them. The traces were not chaotic. They were organized, coordinated, intentional. One captain described the pattern as something like a quiet migration, but a migration unlike any recorded in history. A species leaving known space entirely. The fleet attempted to follow. Their engines strained. Their maps flickered with errors. The path ahead bent space in unusual ways. The council ordered the fleet to return. The search would continue, but they would not risk losing vessels in uncharted void. Meanwhile, the council debated in long sessions. Some admitted regret. Some felt guilt for judging humanity too quickly. Others insisted the ban was justified, but even they felt uneasy about the consequences. No other species had ever reacted with such silence. No other species had ever departed without explanation. Then, without warning, a message appeared in the universal network. It did not come from any known relay. It did not carry the signature of a vessel. It simply appeared as if written into the fabric of the network itself. The message was short, clear, polite, and unmistakably human. We heard the vote. We chose a different path. Thank you for the time shared. May your future be peaceful. The council hall froze. The message did not express anger. It did not seek revenge. It did not request correction. It did not ask to return. It was a farewell, a complete and final one. The first speaker stood in silence. The hall brimmed with an emotion none of them had a word for. It was not fear, not sorrow, not relief. Something in between. Something heavy. Something that felt like the weight of a choice they had not understood when they made it. For the first time in its long history, the council called a moment of reflection. A soft tone filled the chamber. All members lowered their voices. Some thought of the projects humans had begun. Some remembered the music they shared. Others recalled the laughter that echoed in meeting chambers after long debates. Humanity had always been loud, alive, burning with purpose. Their sudden calm departure felt like a silence too deep to measure. In the following cycles, regions once filled with human science hubs dimmed. Trade routes grew slower. Innovations across the council began to stagnate. Not collapse, but slow, as if the spark of something vibrant had gone missing. Engineers missed the strange questions humans asked. Diplomats missed the unexpected agreements humans forged. Explorers missed the bold leaps humans attempted with no fear of failure. One young researcher from a distant world phrased it simply. The galaxy felt smaller without them. Speculation grew about where humanity had gone. Some suggested they found a new cluster of stars beyond the outer void. Some believed they built a new network of civilizations in another region. A few whispered a different idea. Perhaps humanity had grown tired of being judged before being understood. Perhaps they had chosen to start fresh somewhere no ancient powers held influence.